Welcome to ecotopiaumedia. I am your host, Melissa McGinnis, joined by my co-host, Tom Wright. And Tom, we have a very special Skyping guest today, don't we?
Yes, we do. John Roulac.
John Roulac, founder and CEO of Nutiva. Hi, John. Nice to see you today.
Good to be here. Thanks for inviting me on today.
Where are you Skyping us from?
In Richmond, California, here in the Bay Area.
Beautiful Richmond. Well, nice to see you. We're so interested in learning about you. You're such a great character. Tell us a little bit about your upbringing, your childhood, what inspired you growing up.
Yeah, thanks. I was born in Pasadena, California, one of the more smoggy places in the United States in the 1960s, before we had the Clean Air Act and the Clean Water Act. So very smoggy. But I was very fortunate that my mom and dad, some people collect art or et cetera. My mom and dad decided to collect islands. So they bought a 3-acre island when I was age 2. And it was no running water, no electricity in the Pacific Northwest, in the right near Orcas Island, up close to Canada. And so I would spend 1 to 2 months at a very young age, within 30 or 40 feet of the ocean, pretty much the whole time, kind of camping style, and then back to 10 months in a very polluted environment in Southern California. And that difference, that dichotomy, I think really set me up to do my life work, which is really to understand how do we live in a more balanced, ecological way on this earth.
What an incredible childhood. Wow.
So did you go to Pasadena High School, or where'd you?
I went to San Marino High School.
San Marino? Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Not Pasadena, but San Marino. Let's be clear about this. Go ahead.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
The little enclave with a great park, by the way. It has a great park.
Yeah, beautiful park, Lacey Park. But I realized at a young age that school was a conditioning. It was a system to condition people to be good consumers and to repeat information that wasn't necessarily true. I remember at age 11 being thrown out of class for saying that Christopher Columbus didn't discover America, and I learned that in the library, and they didn't like that. And so I realized at a young age that if I was going to obtain knowledge, I needed to become educated and become self-educated, and I've worked to do that. By the time I was 20, I wasn't going to college, but I was spending 4 or 5 hours a day for several years at libraries, reading every periodicals from business to science to biology to advertising to consumer trends, and so kind of a self-taught person.
Fabulous.
And so, amongst other things, you've authored books about composting. So. Yeah. Help us with that. Help us with that track.
Well, a little fast forward. When I was 21, they dumped nuclear waste 9 miles from where I was living in Altadena, California, up against the foothills next to Pasadena, by an unidentified truck driver. And that the radio DJs talked about it for about a week. The radio station I used to listen to back then, and that really set me off. It's like they're dumping nuclear waste and nobody's doing anything about it. And so then I became an environmental activist in my early 20s and was involved in a variety of different activities, including an ecological demonstration house called Eco Home in Los Angeles, where we had these radical ideas of low flow shower head, composting, xeriscaping. These were radical things. People would actually take tours to find out about all this in the 80s, and so that was fun. And then I became a forest activist in 1987, and was involved in the Forest Forever campaign in 1990, statewide initiative to ban clear cutting. And then in 91, I had the idea to write a book called Backyard Composting, and wrote that and sold 1 million copies, and essentially helped jumpstart the modern home composting movement with a handful of compost friends.
You say that so with such modesty, but 1 million selling book is unusual, John.
It is. I mean, the good thing is we didn't sell 1 million individually. I may have sold 75,000 like libraries and bookstores.
Sure.
Or we sold like 100,000 of them to Smith and Hawkins, or 150,000. I sold 5,000 in the state of California. So we sold them in bulk to people who are wanting to educate people.
It's an amazing accomplishment, and yeah, in fact, one of the editors of that is Mary Alice Pedersen, who now works at Disney.
Yes,
You know,
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah, she helped write the book, and yeah, so that was good. And then I've written 3 other books on hemp.
Yes.
And one of these days I have ideas to write more books, but I'm a little busy with my day job at Nativa right now.
Yeah, the day job's taken over. Yeah, I got it. So tell us a little bit about the hemp background of your biography and how, I mean, and help the audience understand the distinction between hemp and marijuana.
Yeah, well, back in 1990, I also founded a group called the Royal Seco Council, which is a nonprofit watershed group in Pasadena, California. And
Sure.
we put on the Royal Seco Festival in 1990. We had 40,000 people come to that. And Jack Herrera, Empress Wears No Clothes, showed the video, Hemp for Victory, World War II victory, showing how farmers could grow hemp for the U.S. War efforts.
In black and white, of course.
In black and white, yeah.
Right. Yes,
And,
yes.
yeah, I used to make jokes on the radio that if it wasn't for hemp, we wouldn't have George Bush as a president, because his daddy jumped out of a warplane, shot down warplane in World War II with hemp
Parachute.
Parachute.
Yeah.
So hemp saved the Bush dynasty. So that's kind of ironic. Got a few laughs on that one sometimes, but. Yeah, so hemp, I looked at hemp as an alternative to cutting down trees. If you're not going to destroy forests for houses, well, what are you going to do? So we kept looking at this fiber, and went to a conference in Germany in 1995, Bioresource Hemp, and then that was kind of inspired to found Nativa, and we made 500 hemp seed bars in 1999. And basically, hemp is not marijuana. It's one of the strongest fibers in the world, and it can outrun Canadian thistle or Johnson grass. So it's a great rotation crop. It was considered the #1 biological weed control by the USDA in the 1920s. Obviously, Monsanto is not happy about having hemp being grown, because farmers can eliminate the use of herbicide, not only in the hemp crop, but they can eliminate it in the following crops. In fact, it reduces weed pressure, improves the tilt of the soil. English hemp farmers, where they grow winter wheat following a hemp crop, are getting a 20% increase per acre for the wheat crop following a hemp crop. So hemp's a great crop, and we're now growing it in Kentucky and Colorado, and we're looking for research. We're looking forward to full commercial production here in the next year or two in the United States.
So it has multi-purposes. You can eat it, and it's also good for building and different things.
Clothes, yep. I'm wearing hemp jeans today, and it's one of the best things for building. They've built thousands of hemp houses, and we can save lots of energy. It's very good for insulation.
How does it?
Yeah, we can also remodel homes and build homes. Basically, you take the short core material, which is about 80% of the stock. You blend it with lime and mix it with water, and it makes basically a plaster. It's for non-load-bearing walls, and it's got some very good applications there.
How does it improve the soil?
It has a long taproot, about 10, 11 inches, and so it really goes into the soil and breaks that up. So it improves the tilt of the soil. It also, the leaves are 50% nitrogen, so it kind of the leaf litter. It creates more dark, cool, or moist conditions, unlike a corn crop. So hemp is really it likes nitrogen like corn, so it does require fertilization, but it improves the crop for the next year. There's some thought that it may reduce nematodes, and it's a very hardy crop. So we should be growing it rotation with corn or soybeans or cotton across the United States.
Sounds like a definitely solution.
It's a soy-lution, did you say?
A soil-lution, yes.
There you go. Soy-lution.
Yeah, and so how did the hemp bar end up showing up as this big plant in Richmond, California? Help us a little bit about that part of your biography.
Yeah, we sold 500 bars. We made another 500, then made 1,000, then made 2,000. We sold a few million along the way. And then but we had hassles importing it. The U.S. Customs and the DEA didn't like this young entrepreneur in Sebastopol selling hemp to America, And so they would stop our products at the border on a regular basis. And at one point, they said that we had to stop selling, and just actually a few months after we started, and we had to turn over their product in our warehouse to them. We told them that they didn't have jurisdiction, and we got thousands of people to call their telephone line before people had emails. This is, or back in '99, most people weren't using email then, and so we stopped that. But then they put it. The Bush administration passed the baton to the Clinton administration, and they posted in the Congressional Record 20 days after 9/11 that hemp foods were in the same category as heroin, and that if I kept selling, I'd be facing multiple counts of dealing in a Schedule 1 dangerous drug.
You wouldn't look good at the end of a noose, John. You know that?
Yeah.
I know. Go ahead.
So we decided to fight. I mean, I
Yes.
faced three choices: either go bankrupt, either keep selling and then potentially go to jail, or keep selling but then go to court and seek an injunction against them. And working with Dr. Bronner's and Nature's Path and the Hemp Industry Association, we filed suit in early 2002, and then in 2004, case law, Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals versus HIA. We won that lawsuit, and we were able to file it in the Ninth Circuit because Nativa had jurisdiction because we were based in California. So we were like we were able to get the case in this court and not go in a second, district or third district, back east where we likely would have judges who were more favorable to the power structure. And it was a 3-0 decision, including a Republican libertarian judge. So we were very pleased with that. And then in 2003, I said, hey, there's no THC in coconut. A lot of people seem to like, there's an interest in coconut oil. So we introduced coconut oil in 2003, and now that's about 2/3 of our sale. And then we added chia in 2010 and red palm. So we're now known as an organic superfood brand and in 20,000 stores worldwide, and at a 60% growth rate for a decade in Inc. magazine, 7 years in a row, fast-growing company. So it's been a wild ride. We have about 120 people here in Richmond, California, at a 145,000 square foot facility. So a little different than running a company with 5 or 10 people now.
What's the nutritional value of hemp? Why is it a superfood?
It's a superfood. It's one of the most nutritious seeds in the world. The shelled hemp seed, or hemp hearts, are 33% protein, very easy to digest. It's very high levels in albumin and edison protein. Albumin protein is similar to egg whites. It also is very excellent source of magnesium, zinc, and iron. Those are 3 master minerals. Most Americans are short in those 3 minerals, and hemp has one of the best sources of minerals in the plant kingdom. It also has a good fat ratio, omega-3 and omega-6. It has about 20% omega-3 by the fat content, and also has 2 fats, super omega-3 and super omega-6 or GLA. And these are important for metabolism, and most foods don't have it. Hence, the only really food in the world that actually has these 2 fatty acids. And so if you're doing a vegetarian source, sometimes not everybody is able to convert the omega-3s into the higher chain fatty acids. So that's why they go for fish. But if you eat a better diet and reduce the amount of junk you're eating, you can absorb it. And then if you have the SDA, it absorbs even faster. So hemp's very good in that way. And it's also got some nice nutty flavor and very high levels of vitamin E as well.
I'm gonna go get some hemp.
No.
I can't believe I'm not eating more hemp. Well, thank you for that great tip. I think we're gonna come back to you in a moment and discuss Nutiva and that trajectory. But we just want to thank you for your history and kind of the knowledge around hemp. I didn't realize what an incredible plant, edible, and just in terms of its other uses hemp is. So thank you for pioneering that.
You're welcome.